Welcome everyone to Channel WACKY. I am of course WACKY and want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by today's video. Pokemon. It really needs no introduction. It's the biggest media property on the planet and is only $3 billion less valuable than Nintendo itself. And Generation 1 really created a juggernaut out of a couple of poorly programmed pixels. It is still the highest selling generation to this day, which is incredible to me how this still has more sales than this. Huh. Old habits die hard, I guess. With the main appeal of the series back in the day to catch 'em all, Game Freak really needed to rely on solid Pokemon designs for the encounter and battle mechanics to sell the public on Pokemania. And it worked! Until everyone saw the sprites. Because what are some of these designs? Yeah, well, the main design of the Pokemon that people saw in the anime and TCG looked great. As soon as you turned on your Game Boy, however, you were entering the distortion world. When Pokemon Yellow came around, they corrected some of the more questionable designs, but with Red, Blue, and Green, we got some truly hilarious sprites that make us do double takes at Pokemon that we are so accustomed to seeing today. So with this video, I intend to rank all 151 original sprites based off the only truly objective metric, a tier list. Believe me, I know I am missing a golden opportunity by not covering the original designs of Red and Green from the Japan exclusive launch in '96. So, if you want me to cover those truly cursed sprites, make sure to let me know you want that video by hitting like and subscribing to Channel WACKY. Alright, so here we have the tier list. It's gonna be kind of a weird... I'm gonna be a little weird with this. Nothing that's completely out of the ordinary for this channel. With this tier list, I'm going to not really have it in any ranked way from like worst to best. Mostly just whichever sprites make me go hee hee ha ha more, and with a couple of sprinkled, actually pretty well designed. At the top of this amazingly objective list, we have the funny as we have the objectively goated, which honestly just gonna be the sprites that are pretty well designed. We have standouts, ones that aren't objectively goated, but more subjectively goated. We have the lukewarm, which are the designs that are but the dog water tier is where we start to really get into the ones where it's not even funny, more so it's just like either it's unmemorable or it really just does not look good. And then we have personally my favorite tier, call the FBI tier. FBI, open up! There's only going to be a couple of Pokemon that end up in this category, so with the criteria set in stone, let's start off with the first Pokemon that is at number 1, Rhydon. Perfectly amazing sprite. This is, of course, the first Pokemon that Satoshi Tanjiro made all the way back in '95, really wanting to harken down the dinosaur aspect of the series' roots, and I think Rhydon is a great starting point and is objectively goated. Now starting with the actual first, let's go with Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, I'm gonna give a standout. He kind of looks derpy, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like he has no life in his eyes, just kind of jumping into the abyss. Its eyes just really kind of spoil it for me. You see the shine in Pokemon like Venusaur's eyes. Honestly, that shine really goes a long way in my personal opinion of this original sprite. They do fix this in Pokemon Yellow. It's just, I don't know. It's funny and it's still memorable, but it just makes the mark as a standout. Ivysaur, on the other hand, is funny as because my dude's over here is just looking like he's ready to stand up to give a class presentation, being like, "Thank you everyone for coming to my presentation on why Vaporeon is the best breeding partner." He just looks derpy, he looks goofy. What is becoming a trend in starter Pokemon designs, and Ivysaur, canonically, the first bipedal starter that we got. And then for Venusaur, I'm gonna give his design here, I'll give it a standout. I don't like the proportions on a lot of these designs, and that's gonna be something that's gonna become apparent a lot later on. The flower just looks too disproportional to his body, even though it is the main design and like the main draw of his character design. It just feels like it's hidden by the more dinosaur features that are not as pronounced. For Charmander, this sprite's interesting because it looks like the flame is trying to engulf his entire body at this point, and it's not just a little flicker that we clearly see in the anime and going forward. His face just says, "Oh my god, I'm about to spontaneously combust." And honestly, it's still good. I don't really feel anything too crazy about it, and it will land strictly in standouts. Same thing goes for Charmeleon. Charmeleon is a bit more, attitude, and it looks like he's trying to backhand the flame. Charmeleon, perfectly fine as a standout. Charizard, the Pokemon that everyone loves to hate on, loves to clown on. I have never really had strong opinions on Charizard. One of the most popular Pokemon for the longest time. I gotta be honest, this sprite doesn't really do it for me. You don't see the beastliness in this sprite. From the art that you see from the TCG and the anime, you get a much clearer vision of Charizard's personality. I mean, hell, even the box art for Pokemon Red in the Japanese version, and even better so in the Red version for the international release, it looks way better. I just don't understand why they didn't go with that design when that is so much more iconic than him kind of curled up, slouching, being almost timid. It's almost as if the flame on his back kind of is winning the day, and he's terrified of the flame. And I don't know, it doesn't lend well to a good design and a good sprite, and therefore he is the first lukewarm Pokemon. Now this is where my bias shows. Squirtle, absolutely good. I love the little dance that he's doing. His proportions are perfect. The only thing that they really have changed with Squirtle from his sprite from Red and Blue to Yellow, and of course the modern day, is that they made his eyes bigger, and that makes him more cute. But even though he was probably even cuter with the smaller eyes, because he's just a happy-go-lucky little turtle guy. I mean, just look at him. I can't really describe it any other better way than that. Wartortle, I'm gonna say standout as well. I kind of like how he doesn't really have arms. I mean, yeah, he's got the little fingers, like the little nails, the 3 nails that are on top of his little stubs and his little nubs. But it kind of just looks like he's in the middle of doing a little La Cucaracha. I mean, just like he's continuing his little dance. He's continuing his little dance that he was doing when he was a happy-go-lucky little Squirtle. And it just makes me still happy. Blastoise. Okay, as the last starter, I'm a little mixed on Blastoise as well. This is just gonna be a WACKY exclusive for this video. My favorite starter of the 3 is Squirtle, and as well as that, Blastoise is my favorite final evolution from this line. But this sprite, it gives off an Eggman, like original design Eggman boss, like just big obese energy. He doesn't have these massive guns that are protruding out of his big shell. Like, of course, with tortoises and turtles and everything, the shell is the main draw. And you definitely see how big the shell is, but maybe he just ate a couple too many Magikarp, and now he's having trouble fitting into that shell. And therefore, it's going to end up in the standouts along with pretty much all of the other starters. I think that all the starter designs, for the most part, for the original sprites, pretty decent. Metapod, honestly, he kind of looks phallic, and I would say call the FBI on him, because he's kind of looking like, Kakuna, on the other hand, this is our first call the FBI. This design is just creepy. They, from my knowledge, and of course I'm like 99% sure that they've used his arms before in designs. The 1% of me is saying, Kakuna with arms, the most horrifying thing that you could possibly think of. If I'm a 10-year-old going through the Viridian Forest, and I come across one of these little suckers, and then all of a sudden his arms just pop out and start scurrying after me, I'm not gonna have a good time. This is gonna be our first dog water entry in Pidgey. What is even going on? Look into his eyes. What is going on? He literally just looks like P-Dove if P-Dove was made in Generation 1. This is probably one of the more drastic design overhauls. Eyes are big with a lot of these early Pokemon because its eyes don't even match its middle evolution and final evolution. That this fat little dove or fat little pigeon is better being plucked and cooked. Geodo, I kind of love it. It's so stupid. I'm gonna put it in lukewarm. Only because Pidgey must have just found like the fattest Subway sandwich and just chomped down that and just grew from size, not even from evolution. But when you get to Pidgeot, it's funny as the proportions on the wings are so funny. You don't know how fat this pigeon ends up being, and not only did it stop at the Subway footlong, but it took a pit stop at Jersey Mike's and was like, 5 more please. He's just like squawking at it's like he's squawking at the cashier being like, more! Ekans? What? Why? Actually, it's not even dog water. It's funny. It's got the most derpy face with the most protruding neck. Its face looks like it's also at the Subway, the same Subway and Jersey Mike's as Pidgeot is, and he's like, you gonna eat that? Perfect. It's just perfect. Now we get to the Pokemon, the mascot that has started it all, is partially the biggest reason why we're all such massive fans. Fat Pikachu. Objectively goated. Keeping in line with that, we have even chonkier Raichu, and I like it. Honestly, of course, Raichu has always been kind of snubbed because it's always been in Pikachu's shadow. You know, pun intended with how big Pikachu is. Raichu just kind of falls short. Its lightning tail is a lot better in my opinion because its lightning bolt is perfectly shaped on its end rather than the zigzaggy lightning tail that Pikachu obtains. Let's blitz through the Nidoran line because my thoughts on most of them except for 2 pretty much the same. I've never been really a fan of Nidoran female. Nidorina, not much better. Nidoran male, looks a little better, but again, it's the eyes for me. Nidorino, I think, is absolutely perfect. I think there's a reason that they use this Pokemon in the opening of the games when it's fighting Gengar. Its sprite does it justice. Nidoqueen, I'm gonna put in standout, very good, very solid. Looks like it looks like the natural progression of its line and looks its most graceful. Nidoking, I just gotta keep it real. It's my favorite design. Game Freak was designing its monsters. I think Nidoking along with Rhydon perfectly encapsulate the early days of Pokemon and its designs. I think it is its peak design of that generation, and honestly, it's still to this day one of the best designs, even though now it looks more like a monster, like an actual monster, hearkening to its beginnings. But even in this, if you don't tread lightly around this Pokemon, it's gonna mess you up big time, and I've always enjoyed that. Clefairy, nothing really to say about it. It's a standout. Only thing that I'll mention is that I think it would have been an interesting choice to make Clefairy Ash's partner like it originally was supposed to, but the Clefairy in the Pokemon Adventures manga is a freak. Maybe I should do a video talking about the manga one of these days. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments as well. Clefable kind of looks derpy, not in the funny way. It kind of looks like it's trying to do yoga for some reason. Vulpix, not really a fan of this design. This is probably going to be one of the more hot takes. I don't really think that this design for Vulpix really works. Official artwork, perfect. It is super freaking cute, and the art in the anime does it way better. If you catch on to the majority of these designs, the anime greatly influenced how the designs of the Pokemon looked going forward. And of course, this, because the games came out before the anime, they kind of were running off of, oh, let's just run off of our original thoughts and our original designs. You know, like, these are monsters to tame, capture, rather than the more friendly and more childish adventure that Pokemon really encapsulates now. Jigglypuff, derpy as f. It looks as if it is going in for a hug, but it's also singing and putting you to sleep. So in a way, and again, it's proportions. The proportions, its arms are longer than its feet. How could it get anywhere with those little stubs? It just doesn't make any sense. And in terms of Wigglytuff, again, you're calling 911 as soon as it evolves. Its eyes are terrifying. It looks like it is staring deep into a child as it's being like, "It's okay, little guy. I'm here for you. I'm not as cuddly as I used to be, but I can be cuddly now." No. I will brandish my Second Amendment rights if a Wigglytuff comes running at me with that face. Now we're getting to one away from arguably the Pokemon and the Sprite that everyone is here to see. Real quickly, Zubat, lukewarm. It's a bat. It's literally always just been a bat. But Golbat, on the other hand, the Sprite that started the whole craze of these wacky sprites. And a lot of people are thinking that you should call the FBI, or you would think that it's funny as f, but I really like this design. Golbat's design, it's modern design. I do not like it. I gotta be completely honest. I think that you need a couple of wacky looks, especially with how like derpy and how memey Generation 9's Pokemon look. Just how crazy. It's almost as if Ozzy Osbourne, this is the bat that Ozzy Osbourne almost bit its head off, and then it basically adapted the mannerisms of Ozzy Osbourne and became an fan. And now it is doing its best Ozzy impression, and it looks absolutely insane. And also being an objectively goated, no, I was just that entire time. Of course, it's in funniest. It is the funniest. I gotta put it at the top, you know. Get out of here. Get out of here. Ivysaur, the most iconic sprite of the first generation, bar none. For the Oddish line, I'm not gonna do a lot of. This isn't gonna turn into a Coney bit. But I am going to add another tier, and it is problematic. Sure, call the FBI. Those are some problematic ones. That's more of the Chris Hansen problematic. But problematic in Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume's sense is for reasons that I can't discuss on YouTube, but you can pretty much come to your own conclusion based off of what this could possibly mean. Joining the FBI's most wanted list is going to be Paris and Parasect. These Pokemon have always been terrifying. It's creepy. I don't want my children around it. And I certainly wouldn't want anyone around these two Pokemon. For Venomoth, FBI most wanted list as well. We're rounding up a really nice top 10 most wanted list right now. Right along, Diglett, lukewarm, along with Dugtrio. Okay, all right, I'm already breaking the rule that I said that I wasn't gonna break. Another tier, because this is also just a Generation 1 problem in general. Three-headed ass looking ass. And in this, I'll just go ahead and throw Dugtrio, Dodrio, yeah, Magneton. I guess Execute doesn't really count. I don't understand what they were going for. But why did you have 3 Pokemon where you were just like, all right, what if we just make a tiny Pokemon like Diglett and just make 3 more of them, but they mad. Meowth's sprite is goated. Cute little cat. Who doesn't like cats? I can't really add anything to that. Persian is just a bigger cat, but he mad. Psyduck, stupid cute. I'm gonna put it in goated. Of course, it's on the simpler side, but sometimes simple works. Psyduck's line, especially in these sprites, is the perfect definition of what happens when the innocence of youth is corrupted. Because Golduck ends up on the FBI list as well. It is just, it looks like it's peeking over a fence being like, where them kids at? Mankey, one of my favorite Pokemons. I hate this design. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put Dogwater. I don't know if it's trying to be cute. I don't know if it's trying to be fierce or ferocious, like its counterpart Primeape. I think they did Primeape pretty good in this sense. I've always liked Growlithe and Arcanine, but this sprite is just, actually, it's Dogwater too. Again, they didn't know what to do with the eyes. Its mouth is, it just doesn't look cute. I'm glad they fixed Growlithe going forward because this doggo definitely needed to fix. Arcanine, though, is a good boy. It is the legendary boy, in fact. Now, the current version of Arcanine, it still's got a little bit of a he protect, but he attack vibe. This is just protect. This boy just protects. Not modern Arcanine, who attacks but protects, but it protects but attacks. Describes Arcanine in VGC perfectly. Poliwag, lukewarm. Poliwhirl just kind of looks, it's just a lazy evolution. Even though Poliwrath is a bigger and more objectively big offender of this kind of train of thought, the fact that he's ready to pimp slap someone automatically puts him up to stand out. Abra, lukewarm. It's almost as if like it's waiting for its bowl of soup at the store, like an angry little old man. Kadabra, it looks like it got the spoon, but it didn't get the soup. Alakazam is a standout because he got 2 spoons, and now that soup is nice and ready to go, and he's about to dig into it. Bellsprout, not really a fan of this one either. Weeping Bell, is it dog water? Or should he be in cuffs, or should he just be slurping on that dog water? I think he'll just be slurping on that dog water. He's got the face of a diddler, but he looks like he'll just be floating around with the dog water for the foreseeable future. Victory Bell, it's look right now, perfectly serviceable. Tentacool, one of the most annoying Pokemon to deal with in the history of the games. Lukewarm as well. Meanwhile, Tentacruel is goated. I just love the attitude. The attitude just oozing off of this poison type. Pun intended. But it looks like it's the bouncer into the Pacific Ocean. Geodude, this design is a bit derpy. Not funny as but I don't want to call it a standout either. It's almost got the New Jersey attitude of get a load of this guy. No, it's a standout. I like it. I like the attitude. Graveler, I don't know if he should be on the FBI list because he's just ready to be sprung into action. Golem's arms, I don't understand what's going on. Is there another arm right there? Where did his arms go? It just proportionally, he doesn't make any sense. It's like he found a shiny nickel on the ground and he's like, oh! All these looks that these Pokemon give are just nuts. That ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. Some ones that I don't really feel. I'm just gonna go through at this point all the ones that I just don't feel strongly about. Ponyta, lukewarm. Magnemite, yeah, lukewarm. The Voltorb and the Electrode line, they're just Pokeballs. Grimer and Mug, oh yeah, honestly, call the FBI. Call the FBI. They're just literal sludge. It's as lazy as it gets. Maybe, actually, you know what, maybe you should call the FBI on Electrode as well. Krabby, okay, Krabby goes, he's funny as again, it's another example of lazy design, because it's literally just a crab, but this dude's got no thoughts going on, other than big, meaty claws. Kingler is just the absolute, evolutionary definition of, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you! So, like, Krabby is on standby, but then Kingler on the attack. Slowpoke, just absolutely goated. Again, a really simple but effective design, and this dude is just lazy and dumb, and it is me on a Saturday night. that's why he's here. I really don't know how to feel about Slowbro. He's going on the list as well. I know this is supposed to be like a different form of Shelter. This is like that emoji of the boy going like Slowbro. He is just all pleasure at that point. And then he's just cradling him like his long lost lover, and it just makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Dodo, lukewarm. Staryu, Starmie, they're just starfish, and again, it's one of those instances where the colors are muted, therefore it kind of hinders them greatly. Lickitung goes on the FBI list as well. Rhyhorn, lukewarm. Horsey, it's cute, it's a standout. I've always liked Horsey. Seadra is pregnant because obviously we all know male seahorses get pregnant. And he's just, you know, he's having one of those bad mood swings. Seal is funny as f. He makes that face even to this day in his design, but for some reason, because of the goofiness of these sprites in general, I think it's just better. Shelter, dog water. I don't like this one. Okay, this is gonna be a controversial one. In terms of the Eevee line, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that they're not bad, but they're not good, but I can't put them lukewarm because the comments and people watching this video are gonna absolutely blast me. So, say it with me, more tears! It's just gonna be simply put, sassy cat. You could put Meowth in there, you could put Persian in there, but in terms of all of the Eevees, they're all gonna go in here because they all make the same face. Maybe I should put Vaporeon in the FBI list, as most people rightfully should nowadays, because the internet is a thing and it has objectively ruined us and smoothed our brains down to the smoothness of a pebble. But I will stand by Vaporeon being on the FBI list. You're welcome, internet. Dratini, I don't like Dratini's belly. I get that they're trying to go for more of the snake vibe. When you think of Dragonair does, you can't see any of the snake lines that Dratini is giving off. Did they decide to abandon it outright in the middle of its design? I don't know. Dragonite, I've always been a fan of Dragonite's designs. He mad, and especially with the first Pokemon movie, it makes sense that Dragonite works for the bad guy, especially if you take this sprite into consideration. The lines work for Dragonite because he's just a Dragon Tales character plucked out from PBS. Oh, Jinx is problematic. I don't need to explain this one. Jinx has always been problematic, and there's a reason they had to make her face a little bit more purple as time went on. It was a result of dark skin fashion trends for girls in the early 90s in Japan, which I don't even want to get into with that. Do your own research. Gonna save my career and put him in problematic. Ditto. I like Ditto. Ditto is a standout. It's simplicity at its finest. Porygon. I'm gonna put another tier. Oh my god. Seizure tier, because Porygon created all those. Wait, no, it wasn't Porygon. It was Pikachu. Oh, I know exactly what to do with this. Yes. Of course, what is the first generation of the anime known for? It is putting all those kids in the hospital, and it is really Pikachu's fault. So I'm gonna put Goldeen as funny as well. The sass on some of these Pokemon is insane. Farfetch'd, angry bird with stick. Goated, of course. This design is just how a regular duck interacts with anyone in real life, and Game Freak, you know, they did a really good job at implementing that. Coughing his dog water. He looks like he's like on the verge of about to do something that would require him to go on the FBI list, but that's what Weezing's for. Sins of the father don't trickle down to the sins of the son. Tangela. I want to put Tangela in the FBI tier so bad, but he's just kind of a dude that's like hiding in the bushes, so he hasn't really done anything. This is getting unhinged real quick. I'm gonna add a tier below. Stalker, because he's a stalker hiding in his own bushes. this is probably the most fitting. Actually, you know what? Hypno is gonna go straight up to the FBI because in his Pokedex entry, he literally kidnaps children. You can't get around that. And yeah, he's just the perpetrator. He's like #1 on the FBI's list. Joining him on that list is Executor. What were they thinking with this design? Regular Executor now? It's great. It's fine. It's whatever. But why do they have to give him, even with the shading on his face, it says it all. He's like got a flashlight somewhere and he's like, "You want to hear a bedtime story, kids?" When he's tucking them away in the jail cell that he's keeping the children. So yeah, and then the other faces are just accomplices to everything that's going on in this mind right here. Execute. You know what? I'm gonna put him in the 3-head ass looking ass. I wasn't gonna do it because he's got 6, but what is going on with that big egg right there? Emitting big egg energy, looking down on your siblings. Come on, man. Come on. Don't do it. I've been recording for 2 hours already. Drowsy is looking through the glass at the children. Meanwhile, Tangela is hiding in the bushes. Mr. Mime, of course, he goes on the list as well. What do you expect? Pinsir, he shouldn't be on the list for the FBI. Kids should put a restraining order on Pinsir. That's a thought. But alas, I've always liked Pinsir's design, even though it is very, very bug-like and creepy. It goes in standout. Whittling down, we're down to the final 2 rows, thank God. Magikarp, okay, this might be a hot take, I don't know if it is nowadays, but I've always really liked Magikarp's design. There's no reason for this stupid of a Pokemon, and like as accessible as it's been over the last 20 plus years, for it to have as good of a design as it does. You know what, I'm gonna put it in goated. Along with Gyarados, it's a Leviathan monster. The pocket monster aesthetic of the first generation, like too good. I honestly think that it needs to go up higher along with these. These are the 3 menacing boys, where you got everyone else just kind of looking like either cute but mad, and then just outright good boy. And then we got a bouncer, of course. Hitmonlee, I mean, it's got, you know, it's a standout just because it's utilizing its strength, that being its legs, and Hitmonchan is using its fists, which are its strength. I think honestly good character design stances. Kangaskhan, even though it's got a kid, I'm calling the FBI. Help, I've been captured! Shut up! I don't know why I'm drawing a lot of comparisons to kidnapping children, but I mean, just look at some of these faces. Cloyster, yeah, Cloyster, stay away from the kids, Cloyster. That being also with Chansey. My goodness, it's like, ooh, I can't wait! Ooh, I can't wait! And it's just terrifying, especially when Chansey works with kids. Kids are supposed to trust Chansey. This has gone off the rails. Oh my goodness. This version of Mew is perfectly fine. It's a great design, standout. However, if we were talking about the green sprites, like the red and green sprites, the original ones, that Mew is an abomination. Actually, you know what? Sassy Cat. I think that this is the best use of Ghastly's gaseous form, because you don't see its body materialized, rather the gas is its body, which I think is like the best design wise. I get later on how they had to add like the black circle for clarity, because you couldn't really understand where Ghastly's body was. But then again, that's where Haunter comes into play, and while it looks like it's grabbing for them kids, I think it's just evil, pure evil, and it's just maniacal, and I adore it. Gengar's design throughout the years has always been consistent, and even though like proportionally, of course, it changed, it's still really, really solid. I do not like Seaking, not a stalker, but dog water, you go. Flop around that dog water, you stupid looking fish. Scyther, a very, very angry landscaper. Standout, no, it's goated. I really, really like how ferocious he looks. I like the buzz, a little bit stout, a little fat, kind of works. I like it. Standout. Tit Duck, on the other hand, got a big old beer belly, and then it's got a questionable looking head. Honestly, I really like Magmar's design. That's just a me thing. Tauros, I'm gonna put Tauros in Goated as well. I've always liked its design, and of course it's the king of the RBY metagame. You gotta put the king of OU in the best Pokemon of that generation at the top. I really like Lapras. It looks as if the Lapras that are portrayed in the anime just looks a little bit more mature, a little bit more like a monster. The eyes, again, are the biggest thing with it, but I think it works. Ammonite, we haven't done a funny as in a while, so the attitude that both Ammonite shares and with Goldeen works perfectly. Amistar looks like he should be in the FBI, and he should. Actually, no. You know what? He's doing a funny little dance. I'm gonna put him in funny as well. Kabuto, lukewarm. I've always liked the more, like, the looking up at Kabuto, seeing more of its design, and then the red eyes that are underneath its shell, obviously being more of a reference to its fossil ancestors. Deceptive, but I think that's the point, and that, I guess it works in that instance. Kabutops, I really like. He would be an excellent landscaping partner with Scyther. Aerodactyl, frickin' ferocious. I love this design as well. Snorlax, oh my god, funny as fuck. Finally, we get down to the legendary birds. This really shouldn't be a shock to, like, anyone. Shock, get it? Get it? Because Zapdos is clearly the best designed out of the trio. Articuno looks like it's screaming because it's in lukewarm. And then Moltres is, I don't know what's going on here. This is like the biggest offender of the proportions problem. You don't know, like, what's going on with this Firebird. You don't even, it doesn't even look like it's on fire. It's just because it's red. It just looks like a chicken that's plucking the ground, and it's just trying to get some seeds. Like, it's just trying to feed its bird belly. And then, finally, Mewtwo. Don't know how to feel about this version of Mewtwo, honestly. It looks like a monster, like, which is fitting because it's the final boss and everything. I just don't like the proportions of it. Like, is it squatting? Is its arms just supposed to be that long? Still have an aura of, like, it emits a lot of power in this, like, stance that it has. But I really like the straighten up. They just made him stand up, it just infinitely works better for YouTube. For Mewtwo's design, not YouTube's design. I think its placement in stand out, because it should be standing instead of squatting, firmly on the list. And with that, guys, that's gonna be the completed list. This looks like a mess, but then again, I am a mess, so, you know, we just go hand in hand. Down below in the description is the link to this specific tier list off of TierMaker. I had a blast doing this, and this is the first time that I've done this kind of format. I've always wanted to do tier list videos. Hopefully it came off as coherent enough, and that you had a good time watching this. My goal with this channel is just to entertain, especially for those video game nerds like myself. Subscribe to Channel WACKY for more content like this, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.